Hey boardies, welcome to Mass Games. My name is Simon. Today I'm trying to set up, play and review the game Samurai. Now this is by Reiner Knizia. There are various editions. This one's by Fantasy Flight from 2015. And as you'll notice, it's too big of a game for me to leave the box cover in shot. It's a 2 to 4 player game. It's an area control game where you're aiming to control the most areas of Japan for various different things. Now, there are different pieces over here depending on how many players you're playing with, and in the rulebook it'll tell you how you'll be setting this up. So I'll show you, for example, a bit of an introduction which I won't talk to you about right now. So for a 2-player board, you have an A and a B side, and they're going to go obviously respectively together. So in this instance like that, and they're going to go out, and I'm going to just start constructing this out of shot. Just whilst I'm doing this, please ensure you hit the like button and the subscribe button via that notification bell as well via YouTube. And also, if you can, please of course go through the link tree. There are occasionally competitions and giveaways. They are time sensitive. So via that link tree, you can also find Patreon, where you can support the channel. There's also Instagram with over 2,500 posts. And aside from that, you can also go through to Facebook. So this piece will go away and this piece goes away. This is a 3 or 4 player game. You also take a colour of your choice. So we have purple, my last name's lavender, so of course I'll take that one. Green, red and yellow, and these cast pieces. So for the time being, I'm just going to chuck everything away that I don't need. I will get out another colour just to kind of show you some examples. And these 3 scoring pieces. As I said, control the most of these and you win the game. So we have military represented by these kind of like towers, I guess castles. We have the Buddha, or Buddha, representing religion. And we have rice, obviously representing rice. So those are going to go together like that, and you can leave them off to the side as and when they come into play. This is zoomed out, hopefully it is okay for you to see everything. And now everything is going to go here, so this can go back in the box. And now what you're going to do is, of course, take those tiles that I did show you a second ago, and you're going to put them all face down. So you can take these pieces, place them all face down. So let's just do that now. Thankfully, I think the majority of these are face down. So everyone's going to do this, and whilst I'm still doing this, if you go through to the playlist, this is going to go to the How to Set Up, Play and Review playlist. It's going to go to my Reiner Knizia playlist. I actually have met his assistant's son, who I've gamed with as well, and he's made over 600 games, and I think Samurai looks quite nice like that. And you're then going to take 5 of them at random. So you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're also going to take a little player screen. So they look like this. So you're going to lay this out, and it shows you the distribution of everything in here. So we have various ones. So if you want to try and get military, we have 2, 3s and 4s. So these are different levels of power. Same for religion, same for rice. And over here we've got some wilds, which I'll talk about in a moment. Ultimately, they can represent anything. So this is going to go up, so nobody else can see that, but it's going to go behind the board here. Let's move over here for the time being. You're also going to have these cast pieces. Now, depending on the players that you're playing with, you're going to chuck more back in the bag. So if there are 13 of each, so you have 13 rice pieces, you have 13 of these castles, obviously these military pieces, and you have 13 pieces representing Buddha or the Buddha for religion. Okay, so you're going to place these out. You can place them any way you like, or you can choose to actually follow the initial setup, which it mentions here. I've played this game numerous times with people obviously using the standard setup, but also going random. It doesn't make too much of a difference. When you see spaces of 2 or 3, obviously you're going to put 2 or 3 on there, but they must be different. So that's something you have to be aware of. Now, in a 3-player game, you're going to chuck back 3 of these, 3 of these, and 3 of these, so 3 of each. And in a 2-player game, obviously the same thing's going to apply. You're chucking back 6, you're going to have 7 of each. So now you're going to randomly just sort of chuck things out. And let's say, obviously, these have all been filled up. So because here's a triple, as you can see, it's certain layouts because they know what you're doing. So there's 3 different ones there. And you can just about see vertically that they all do look a bit different as well. So there are videos coming soon to the channel. I think daily videos for the last 3 years. There's also plenty of other videos to check out, obviously, by Reiner Knizia. Of course, you do remember that there are going to be 7 of each. So there are going to be spaces everywhere. It's going to be even distribution. Aim of the game is to capture the most of one area. So at the end of the game, once they've all been captured, once you've used up all your tiles, then whoever's got the most rice will take that tile. Whoever's got the most Buddha will take that tile. Whoever's got the most military will take that tile. And the way it works in a tie is whoever you've got the most left over of the others, that person's the winner. So you might have 4 of these, and that might be enough in, say, a 3-player game because you have 10 of each. Everyone else might have 3 of each, and then you might win this one with 6. Everyone else might have 2 and 1 or whatever, and somebody else might game this one. So you might win 2 to 1, or you might win 1 each, but you might have more of the others remaining, so you might win the game. So you want to take 5 tiles. Now I'm going to do it so that screen is not in the way. So you're going to start off with whatever these have been randomly distributed as being. So we have over here a power of 2. It's the weakest power, remember. 2 is the lowest, then it goes 3 and 4 for the regular ones here. and you can place it next to a military tile if you want. Now, as you can see, I'm looking vertically as well. We have a military one here because it's square. There's a military one here. There's a military one over here. So for the time being, let's just say I place it here because it's influencing military here and here. Once it's completely surrounded off, so now let's just use an opponent's one to show us an example. That ends my turn, and then draw up an extra tile. So I have an extra one here. Remember, this is not visible to anybody else. And let's say they play out here, the Buddha tile. Why would they want to play that there? Well, 4 is the highest, if you remember, and this one is now influencing control over here. This is now surrounded, which means I have the most power. I have 2. Even though it's 4, it's not relevant to, obviously, for military. So I can take this, and it goes behind my little counter thing here, behind my shields, my screen, and now I've got one of them. Now, I personally don't really play the memory game of this. I can't pay that much attention to it, but I know other people have and actually had, I don't know if they won or not, but yes, you can focus and say, oh, that person's got that, they've got that, and however you wish to do it. As you can see, that's now been claimed. That space is no longer used for the rest of the game. Let's say it's my turn now. So this time I could play a wheat and obviously influence some wheat, or I could choose to play a wild. So if it doesn't have one of those 3 symbols on it, it's a wild. So this can work like this, which means it's influencing 2 over here and all of these. So obviously for military, it's now worth 4. It's their turn, and let's say they play out, I don't know, let's say 4 military. So let's say, I don't know why they play that there. They might want to play it just to ensure they capture this because they've already committed 4, but let's just say they go somewhere else. Now, on my turn, you might have noticed I've got these red tiles. I can instead play one of these instead of my normal tiles, which do not have these red marks, which means fast. These are called fast action tiles. On my turn, I can choose to either play one of these or a regular one. So I might want to play a wheat over here, let's say, and I can play a fast tile. Now, in this instance, again, it doesn't have one of these 3 symbols, which means it's also a wild. So I'm going to place over here. As you can see, it only can go in the sea, and you can play as many fast tiles on your turn as you like before you draw up into your turn. So you can't play any more. You could still play this one, but I'll come back to that one. So over here, we're playing here, which is now influencing an extra power for purple, or lavender, over here and here. So now I've got 2, 3 against their 4. Now, in this instance, let's say we're playing it 2-player, green might be like, ooh, I might play something just to ensure that they don't play something and get it. Now, it might be the case I just play some rice to add more influence over here. As you can see, this is rice. Obviously, this is the flat one. And the way I want to do that is to do that, I can even lay it face down to show you as an example, is I might want to choose to place it there because, I don't know, I'm more interested in wheat because, I don't know, maybe I don't want the Buddha. But for now, you know, let's assume I do want the Buddha because right now I haven't got any, and for now I just want to get a bit of everything. So they've taken their turn, and let's say, yeah, they've got, obviously they can only go with what they have. Do they want to waste it? Let's just say they've only got this tile. Another ship, well, obviously that's a fast tile, so you can play something else unless they've only got fast tiles. And let's play more wheat. So let's say they play wheat here, which not only gives them this, because it's 4 against 3, so that's going to go behind their shield. They're influencing, obviously, 5 over here, which maybe not worth me continuing with, apart from the fact there are 2 different casts over here. They're called casts, these different plastic shapes. Now, back to my turn. Now, I do have a total of 5. And now let's talk about one of these other special tiles. So we've got this tile here. Now, what this means is I can place it down, and when this one just goes out of the game. So it goes back in your bag, so you can start packing your bag away. And the way that will work is I can switch something around. So right now, there's a lot of influence for wheat compared to my one. There's a lot of influence over here for, well, this one we can't influence, it's got 3 on it. But let's say this one has the Buddha, and it's them. Well, yeah, I want to keep it like that. But let's just say, yeah, I want to swap this over. I can swap this with, let's say, military. Okay, why? I don't know, because I've already got one, I've already got another one, let's say it was mine, or maybe I want a bit more military to ensure at least to get 1 victory point. So that's what I might want to do. So that's now spent, that's my turn done, but it ensures people don't either spend too long waiting for something to be closed off, or to ensure maybe that you've really messed with an opponent, and you can only do it once per game to obviously go in that space. So you'll be playing through all of your tiles. There's usually 1 tile left over. You could either try and slowly work your way up towards getting something or work towards the end. So if you go early, you're showing your hand in the sense that, yes, you're proclaiming that you want to go for these, let's say, or you might be choosing to play whereby you want later on and see what you're reacting to. 2 different ways of playing it, and there's loads of things in between that, so it's quite open. Other things to talk about, well, we have this tile here, so we'll talk about that. So that's a swap tile. You're going to place that tile down, and the way it's going to work is when you place it down, you are then moving one of your tiles somewhere else. So if it's my turn, I can choose to play, let's say, This wheat is pretty good, but let's say I want to place this here. I can now move this somewhere else for whatever reason. I don't know. Let's say I put it here. Doesn't really affect it, to be honest, but it means I might be able to get a Buddha tile in here next, especially as I've got a 3, and of course that doesn't do anything for this one. That's how it goes. Like I said, you can play as many of these as you want, but of course once you've played them, these fast tiles, once you've played them, that's it. You can't then obviously do more. You can only play with what you have, but I generally find it's good and bad. I mean, you might think, oh, I've got no luck, I haven't got these tiles currently, but it doesn't seem to matter. There's no kind of luck factor, I think, really affects it. You might go, oof, it's more about the case of, do they have this tile in their hand? You know, the strongest, level 4 tile. Do they have it in their hand or they don't? I don't know. Do I play it? If I don't play it, eventually they will get in their hand, or are they just holding back? Aside from that, we've talked about these wild tiles. We also have this tile as well, which is just the same as these, to be honest. It's a fast tile though. Ultimately, you can quickly jump in and add an extra strength of 1. Obviously, it makes sense these are a bit weaker powered because you can play them as many as you want on your turn. Up to 5, remember. You have 5 tiles, you could play one of these, and if the other 4 happen to be red, which has happened to me before, you could play them out. It's up to you. But once you've spent them, well, you've kind of shown in your hand that you've got no more of those, adding on tiles, so you can't then quickly go 1, 2, 3 and close off an area. So what do I think of the game? Well, I do like the idea that you can then rush it like that. You can kind of count and say, oh, they've already played their 4 tile out. They haven't played their swap tile, so they could move that 4 somewhere else. But if they have then played it out, then I can react to that. So my rating initially was kind of a 6 out of 10, but my rating has been bumping up closer towards now actually what the wider community think, which is 7.5. And yes, I think it's a good game. It's quite a crunchy, head-burning game though, when you're thinking, do I want to go there, do I want to go there? There's not too many choices. Obviously, if you can see 2 of one type near each other, it makes sense to obviously play your specific tile as close as you can to it to get maximum benefit. You normally can only get 2 things out of it though, based on how they're spread. As you can see, you can't get 1 tile to affect 3 things. It's only 2, which stops things from being overpowered. And so that's very well balanced, very well designed in that respect. These pieces are very nice. I like that too. Obviously, I like the components. I think they're very fun to play with. It's a lovely box. There's a lovely feel to the box as well. Obviously, it doesn't need to be that size box, but it kind of works obviously with these various boards. I have to go in somehow. So yeah, my rating, like I said, about 7.5. Highly enjoyable. Obviously, I play lots of Dr. Reiner Knizia's games. Big fan of Dr. Reiner Knizia. They're pretty abstract. People have said, who are into Japanese games, that there's really no theme going on here. And yeah, I can understand that. It is what it is. But for me, I think gameplay is what I really like, and the appreciation of that too. It does play quickly, specifically as a 2. I think you can get this through this game in under half an hour. Even as a 3, obviously, once you've played it before. And as a 4 as well, you're looking under an hour. So it's a quick, fast game to play. It looks pretty good as well. I think it's got a great table presence. It does have this band here, which you don't have to worry about. And yeah, in terms of duration, it does say 30 to 60 minutes. So I think that's very accurate. As I've found with all of his games, most of his games are of that typical duration. So that's been the game Samurai. Please let me know your thoughts as always. And for now, back to the table.